Spider-Man No Way Home is sick. If you've seen it, great. If you haven't, well, that's too bad, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. Well, technically. So take this as your spoiler warning. Actually, don't even take this as your spoiler warning. Go watch it. Go watch it right now. Like, what are you doing with yourselves? Sort yourself out. Bloody hell. The multiverse is crazy, bringing all our favourite heroes and villains from previous Spider-Man films together. But they forgot one major character. What is up, guys? My name is Corky Izzard, and today we're going to talk about one of Spider-Man's greatest rivals of all time. So, you better get ready for Bonesaw McGraw. Well, he may not be the greatest rival of all time, but he is the web slinger's first, so that's got to count for something, right?
In the 2002 film Spider-Man, that stars Tobey Maguire, also known as Earth 96283, if you wanted to get technical about it. Not long after gaining his powers, Peter Parker would take part in a wrestling match so that he could win $3,000, which he could then use to buy a car to impress his love interest, Mary Jane.
Because having superhuman strength and lightning fast reflexes isn't enough, apparently.
Now, I know wrestling isn't taken seriously because it's predetermined.
It's still real to me, damn it!
But the director, Sam Raimi, does a fantastic job at keeping kayfabe alive in this film, as he establishes the legitimacy of pro wrestling within the Marvel Universe so well, even down to the bingo hall venue.
What we wanted to do was build a set where the crowd was right on top of the contestants. We really wanted Toby to feel like he was in this fishbowl, have a lot of intensity.
Like when Peter enters the place, he isn't handed a script or told what to do. He's just signing up to wrestle their champion. And while he's doing this application, their heavyweight is just mercilessly beating on his opponents.
There's no featherweight division here, small fry.
Showing that the NYWL isn't messing about.
You understand the NYWL is not responsible for any injury you may and probably will sustain while participating in said event.
Only awarding those who are brave enough or stupid enough.
Oh, my legs! Oh, God, I can't feel my legs!
To challenge Bonesaw McGraw and defeat him, are then awarded the title. Which was hard to do, as the man was built like a tank, like he's a goddamn hench.
Okay, and that's our cup one. Do not remove his leg. Okay.
The man who plays the character, Randy Poffo, or better known by his ring name, Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah, this is the Macho Man Randy Savage, a.k.a. Bonesaw McGraw.
Was an American professional wrestler himself, being arguably one of the greatest to ever lace a pair of boots, having 29 championship reigns with 11 titles during his 32-year career. His signature move was the elbow drop, and he actually performed his last one ever in this film, where he would climb onto the top rope, leap off, and drive his elbow down onto his opponent. In order to win against the wrestler, you had to
Stand just 3 minutes in the cage.
after making his grand debut as the Human Spider.
The Amazing Spider-Man!
My name's the Human Spider.
I don't care, get out there.
No, he got my name wrong.
Get
You gotta
out
tell
there,
him.
you moron.
This is actually quite devastating, as it's every pro-spring wrestler's worst nightmare, having their name called out wrong. Like, I've been absolutely leathered because I was chanting the wrong names to like some of my mates in the ring. And they're proper like, oh, why'd you get me name wrong? Now nobody's gonna know who I am.
But to be fair, the announcer did him a solid, as the Human Spider is a terrible name. Like, that would never get over. Are you sure Vince didn't have a hand in writing this? It just sounds a lot like the 90s wrestlers, such as the Kiss Demon, Santa Claus, Oz, or Knuckleball Swartz. Speaking of which, when Randy was a baseball player, he used to wrestle under the ring name The Spider, as he couldn't compete in other sports while he was under contract. Which is just ironic if you think about it. It's like he was born to play the role. No, not Spider-Man. Bonesaw, obviously. You didn't exactly have to defeat the champion in order to win the match, as you could also just do your best and survive for 3 minutes. Run away until the time runs out. But I suppose that's thrown out the window in a cage match.
Hey, listen, it's some kind of mistake. I didn't sign up for a cage match.
Card is always subject to change, I guess.
Hey, Freak Show! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of free time!
Though, as impressive as the Sorter of Bones was, Peter was able to beat him fairly quickly. Mostly thanks to his superpowers, but seeing as the match was set in a steel cage, making it a no DQ, I can't really complain. Though I do know one man who can. After Peter delivered the final blow by tossing Bonesaw into the ropes, this would result in a real injury, as he would fall and land on his neck and had to be taken to hospital. And they say wrestling's fake. Randy is a pop culture icon, being so legendary you could recognize his personal traits such as his style or voice anywhere, and is actually one of the reasons that got him the role, as when he auditioned, Laura Ziskin, the producer, fell in love with his voice, and can you blame her? The man was born to play a character within the comic book universe, regardless of whether they were good or evil, as he's so over the top and confident with everything that he does.
And there is no one that does it better than the Macho Man Randy Savage! On balance, off balance, doesn't matter.
The guy is a natural entertainer. Like, just look at his killer outfit that he wore when going to the film's red carpet. Oh, absolute fire. Guy knows how to dress for the occasion. And you know who else was at that red carpet? None other than the legend himself, Stan Lee. I just wish I could report a story about the Macho meeting the man, as I can just imagine these two really kicking it off. If you know of one, please write it down in the comments and I'll pin it, because I would really like to know. But honestly, I just can't picture anybody else doing a better job than him. It was like he was made for the role, especially as he was a wrestler already. It just ticked all the fans' boxes. Shortly after teaming up with Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles to take on the Kings of Wrestling in TNA. However, in 2004, Savage would step away from the squared circle, while many fans wanted him to return for one more match. Sadly, that never happened, as he passed away in 2011. But after watching No Way Home, it got me thinking a lot about the multiverse and the endless possibilities it provides. And with that, I thought it would be so cool if Marvel were to do a Bonesaw McGraw comic book. Especially as, in the behind the scenes footage, concept art can be seen of the wrestler. And I honestly think this would be a cool way to keep his legacy alive. Though we did get different variations of the Bonesaw character, they were more loosely based, however, like the secret boss in the Spiderman video game.
Which is honestly so annoying. Like, I put so many hours into that game. I literally did it all. But did I do the tutorial? No. I had no idea there was even a secret boss in the game. Oh.
In the training section for basic combat, after defeating a bunch of enemies, Bonesaw will appear as a secret opponent.
I'm gonna teach you a lesson!
Subtlety isn't in your vocabulary, is it?
Though it didn't really matter anyway, as you didn't get anything when defeating the boss, but still, principle. But what annoyed me the most was the fact that almost all of the cast from the film reprised their roles, but not Randy. Like, if you're gonna make him a character in the game, at least let him do the voice work, especially as there isn't anyone else on the planet with a voice like his. Or at least have somewhat of a similar design, because this is not the Bonesaw McGraw I know. This is like if Bam Bam Bigelow and Vader were to have a baby. Luchador McGraw. You know what? That kind of has a ring to it. I'm going to keep that. Then there's also the Spider-Man 2002, the movie comic variation, where again, they just made a complete random wrestler and gave him the name Bonesaw. Though this interpretation is a lot closer to the original source than the game, but again, it's still a bit way off. And was defeated in a couple of panels. Arguably, the most famous adaptation of this character was the original, Crusher Hogan.
Now, you don't need me to tell you why I think both Randy and Marvel decided on the name change, brother.
As the character was in the first Spider-Man comic. Real name Joseph Hogan from Earth 616, which for those that don't know is the main canon universe. Similar to the film character, Crusher was a wrestler and a shooter, which is a term when referring to legit wrestling tough guys, whilst fighting in expedition matches where anybody could stay in the ring with him for 3 minutes would gain $100.
See, already Bonesaw is 300 times the man that Hogan was.
And again, like other adaptations, Peter would accept the challenge, who disguised himself and wanted to test his newfound powers as Spider-Man.
Wait, so in the original comic, Spider-Man receives $100, and in the film, he was supposed to receive 3,000, but only gets 100 anyway? Oh my god, that's such good attention to detail. Sam Raimi, like, well done. That's so good. I have not even noticed till now.
Bonesaw McGraw, the toughest guy that ever lived, and everybody's got confidence in me because they put up money, and I back it up because we don't have to pay anybody $3,000 because I beat up everybody. You know the deal?
There are several other versions of the Crusher Hogan character within the comic realm, but none that overly stand out or worth mentioning. But there is one that I do want to talk about, and he lives on Earth 199999. And for anybody wondering, yes, that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the film Spider-Man Far From Home, in the establishment where Spider-Man and Happy spoke about responding to Nick Fury's call, an advertisement can be seen in the background showing a wrestling poster stating a challenge for anybody to fight Hogan for $100. And who else is on the poster? Let's see. None other than Bonesaw McGraw. Oh my god, this is the best promotion of all time. Why are them two not pitted up against each other? Why hasn't Vince McMahon booked this yet? Oh my god. Crusher Hogan vs Bonesaw McGraw. Also, just something I wanted to touch on. Happy could be Hogan's cousin, as they both share their last name, which is just all sorts of kind of madness, but anyway. I suppose the closest we got to finding these answers was in Marvel's Spider-Man back in 2017. Before the release of Season 1, Disney Plus would release a series of shorts on their network and YouTube to get people hyped up and excited for their new series. And in their 5th episode, we were blessed by the gods. But did you just say McGee? Like, why? Why did they just feel the need to change McGraw to McGee? Like, what's the point? Come on! Like, oh god. Like the film, the two have a wrestling match where Spider-Man comes out on top, but then it takes a wild turn as he's handed a trophy and a contract to wrestle with the company for a year. No, that's not how it's supposed to pan out. Where's the belt? Why only a year? Why is there even a TV show called So You Want to Be a Wrestler? You've just added more questions that I need answering. Like, no wonder the series was a flop. Have I went too far? No, It was you that went too far, Disney.
I understand that a lot of people are eager for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man to make a return or a Gwen Stacy spin-off. But me, all I want is to watch the next episode of the NYWA. Like, what happened to their company after their champion was beat by a 17-year-old wearing red and blue pajamas? What happened to the belt? Is the human spider even going to defend his championship? So many unanswered questions. Well, thanks for watching anyway. If you could like this video, sick. If you subscribe, that would be nice. And if you got a friend who'd like to watch the video, spread the word. Let our voices be heard. Isn't that right, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah. Say bye, Steve. Go on.
Bye. Peace.
You know, I woke up this morning and somebody said, "Hey, Randy, how you doing?" I said, hey, Bonesaw, how you doing? You know what I mean? So I'm into the character. You know what I mean?